Hello and welcome to Creative Conversations by Summer of the Arts. I'm Lisa Barnes, Executive Director, and I have a very special guest today, Mayor Bruce Teague. Thanks for joining us.
Super excited to be here.
As I was telling you before we started, the idea behind Creative Conversations is this community is so rich in the arts. And I feel like a majority of the people have the regular full-time day job or whatever, but then they're still engaged in the arts. This is me in this position is living vicariously through everybody else since I'm not personally an artist. And so obviously, you're a business owner, local business owner, and mayor of Iowa City and singer. And so I just wanted to kind of hear your story. How long have you been in Iowa City? How did you get engaged in this? Obviously, we interviewed your aunt last year, and she has an amazing story to tell. So we just wanted to hear from you, too.
Oh, well, awesome. I'm happy to share my story.
Good.
So, been here 29 years
Okay.
in Iowa City. Came here, went to West High, got in the choir there
Nice.
immediately because it's kind of what I was used to. I grew up.
Show choir or regular choir?
It was a regular choir.
Okay.
Not the show choir.
Okay.
But it was what I was used to.
Yeah.
Just singing in a choir, a little bit of, solo performance. And coming into Iowa City, immediately I saw that there were things to do. Even though I thought, with all the corn, driving into the state, there wouldn't be a lot to do. But there is great talent here.
Yes.
And back in the day, as many people will call it, I came here in 1993, and the green room was still happening, and people were getting up, signing up for these.
It was open mic slots, wasn't it?
Yeah. And so I did that.
Awesome.
And then that's when I actually started the Bruce Teague band.
Okay.
Back in the day, and there was a few people that would be a part of the band. Here and there, we would even have Bill Peterson every now and then
Great.
play piano, and some other people that are still around. So that's kind of how I got into the music scene here, is through the green room. And then, of course, some of the arts, who's been around for a while, would have a lot of performers come.
Yep.
And so I got involved in being in the audience a lot initially and just dancing around and enjoying it.
Right. Yeah, it's a little bit different when you're up on stage.
It is different when you're up on stage, but as you mentioned, I do own a business as Caring Hands and More, and so we serve elderly and people with disabilities. And I can tell you that our staff absolutely loves when individuals want to go to anything that the Summer of the Arts have planned, because they're guaranteed, one, to be outdoors for the most part, as well as a good time of listening to live music, mainly from local artists.
Yes, that's a big part of what we do, obviously, is building community through the arts.
Yes.
So you went to school at Iowa, right?
Yeah, then I went to West High, and then I went to Kirkwood, and then University of Iowa.
So how did you end up, because your studies, you were actually an RN, is that correct, before you started the business?
Yeah, so I went to, I got my psychology degree from the University of Iowa, and then my RN degree from Kirkwood, and then, so that's kind of how I got into the medical world.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's interesting to me, as I was doing a little more research, and I've known you for a while too, obviously, but I knew about Caring Hands and More, and I've learned more about your business recently, but in looking at your background and your upbringing, and then for you to kind of go the medical route, and then obviously the community route, and becoming a council member, and then ultimately mayor, and I'm curious to know how you decided to take those routes.
So when I was 11 years old, my grandmother lived with us. We called her Big Mama.
Okay.
So she moved with us. She had 12 daughters. And so our house was the happening house. But as, people are busy, right? And so Friday nights would come around, and Grandma didn't want to go out, you know. And so someone had to stay at home with her. So I would always volunteer, because I knew that I'm going to get a grilled cheese sandwich with some sugar on it.
There you go.
The best, baked cakes, and so I always, stay
Love
with
that
her.
time.
It's still on me, many years later. But So that's how I actually start to really have a love for elderly people. And so then when I came to Iowa City, I started working at Iowa City Rehab, then Oak Knoll, then Iowa City Hospice. So my love just grew. And so that was definitely my passion to help people. And of course, I started my business, and that's all caring for other people. And when I raised my hand up to be on city council, I actually see it as a way of caring for our community.
Yeah.
And so that's what I'm just a caregiver, and I even see the role of being counselor and even mayor as caring for the community. There's, the counselors, my fellow counselors, they have thoughts of how they want to have they have thoughts about what the direction they want the city to go in. And I feel like I'm a good person to listen and to try to cultivate some of their hopes and their dreams. And so I'm just a caregiver is how I see myself.
And what a privilege to be able to work with, all these amazing people on council that are shaping the future of this community. I love saying that I'm one of those people that I came here to college more than 30 years ago and stayed because I fell in love with Iowa City. And I'm originally from Des Moines. And I remember, after I'd been here for a long time, my mom was living in Florida, and she'd come visit, and she fell in love with Iowa City. And she's like, after she retired, she moved here and spent the last 20 years of her life in Iowa City and absolutely loved it. And I personally feel like a big part of that is because there is so much going on.
It is
all the
so
time.
much happening in Iowa City. My mom also lives here. My parents actually lived here. My dad passed away in 2016, but it took him about a year to totally transition here.
From Chicago?
From Chicago.
Okay.
But it took this group. He would go to Hy-Vee, and he saw this group of guys that would always be there. They were from the bus barn.
Oh, okay.
The Iowa City bus system. And so he started talking to them, and that kind of mimicked what happened for him in Chicago, because he would meet with a bunch of guys every morning.
Yep.
He didn't eat breakfast at home. That was his thing. And so once he found that, and then he was engaged in so much other stuff that the city had to offer. And my mom, you know my mom, Mama Teague, as we call her, she has more friends than I do.
I find that hard to believe.
Oh, no. Seriously. Like, her phone is ringing off the hook. Mine ring off the hook, but it's because there are needs in our community, right? But yeah, she stays busy. She loves it. And she's also a musician. She plays piano and she sings. Yeah. And so she absolutely loves Iowa City. Yeah. And I think for many people, they come here and they think, this is a quiet town. It is quiet. I appreciate the silence. But it is a happening town. But you got to get out and get involved.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. I went through the Chamber Leadership Program many years ago, and it's such an amazing opportunity to learn more about the community. And I know at one point I was asked to join the Public Arts Advisory Committee, but I'm rural Iowa City, so I wasn't eligible. One of those people, it's
Come on over a little.
I've lived in my house 31 years, probably not. But even when the school bond issue came up, with all the improvements, I told my mom and sister, I said, go vote for it. I'm not eligible, but go vote for it. Support the community. And my kids grew up here. My son still lives here. My husband is from Iowa City, so we have a lot of ties here as well. And I'm curious to know how often you're performing now.
So one of the challenges in Iowa City, it's a very transitional city.
Yes.
And when I had the Bruce Teague band, we went through about 4 different iterations of, a great team of musicians. And the last time we had this great guy, he was in the PhD program. And because I don't read music, and that's not my thing to really coordinate all the musicians, and he really did a great job of that, coordinating all the music. And when he left, I was busier in all of my endeavors. And so when he left, I thought, now is kind of a good time to just relax, kind of just let that be. Maybe every now and then jump up on stage with another band.
With Nora Jean.
Yes, with just jump up and sing a half a song
Right.
with someone else, and I enjoy that. I think for me it's too much effort
Yeah.
in trying to teach a band my songs that I want to sing, the style that I sing it. That is a challenge, and so I've just learned to decline the nice offers of we want you to come and sing, and I just say, hey, depending on the venue, if there's a person, I would be more than happy to jump up on one song. But you do know that in itself is a challenge, because artists sometimes, all artists aren't open to another artist coming up and sharing the stage.
True.
And I'm fully aware of that.
As I recall, though, at the 2021 Soul and Blues Festival, that was prearranged pretty much, wasn't it, between you and Gloria and Nora?
Yes.
And
Nora absolutely wanted that.
Yeah, she was having a rough night.
Yeah, we've known her for many, many years. I remember seeing her in Cedar Rapids for the first time live.
She was amazing.
She not only did that outside fest, but she did it was a late night fest, or
oh my gosh,
where it was like a small group. It was phenomenal.
Yeah.
So, but again, she's an artist that invites people to come up, and she's not intimidated. If you have a better voice or a better performance, then she's not intimidated, and so I'm mindful of. There are artists out there that don't appreciate that.
Yeah.
I'm not that. I wasn't that artist.
Yeah.
Anybody want to, I always had an opportunity to engage audiences, audience participation. And I would always be like, oh my God, you can sing.
Right.
Right? I'm like, oh, but I'm not going to let you sing too long. No. I would let people sing. No, you always find someone out there that really can sing. And I think it just brings more to the night and more to the atmosphere of just being happy and free. And
I was just thinking, it's the joy. It's the joy that it brings. So do you sing at church?
So every now, I have not. I've been at my church for about 5 years.
Okay.
And I have chosen to just be present and just because I need a place to go where I get filled up.
Yes.
And
because you are.
And not on stage.
Yeah, and supporting everyone else too.
And so that I've kind of protected that, and I've told my pastors, like, I just want to go and just receive.
Understandable.
Yeah.
So, and your brother has a band though, right, in Chicago?
Yes. He is always performing. He has a great voice, as you know.
Yep.
He's a crowd pleaser.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he likes to. He's also one that likes to invite people up on stage. Whenever I go and hear him, I get to sing.
Yep.
It's expected, that he and I will sing at least one song. So it's fun. And my mom sings.
Yep.
And so it's kind of a family affair when we get together.
I think I saw your mom one of the earlier years of the Soul Festival. I think she might have sang.
Yes. Well, remember we did a lot of the Sunday brunches.
Yes.
And that was
That's what
fun.
I'm thinking of. Yeah, when we
Yes.
used to do the gospel brunches.
Yes.
That was so much fun. So what do you each year, obviously being involved with city council, you've got a lot of work to do always.
Yes.
Is there any one thing that really stands out to you as far as Iowa City and just being engaged that we need to work on, that, maybe our community can do a better job at?
So there are lots of pop-up things that you all are doing now on the north side. Oh my God, that's been enjoyable to be a part, just being in the audience over in the middle of the street, right?
It's such a different atmosphere there. Yeah, we love that. And the changes that the downtown district's done over there, and having the street closed with the mural and having tables and stuff.
Great.
We really enjoy that. And, our expansion out into the neighborhoods with Music on the Move has been a lot of fun, and with the free movie series. So,
during COVID, one of the things that I appreciated was some of the neighborhoods would just have like a performer come and perform. And I think during that time, we know a lot of folks was isolated, but there was still opportunity to come together in the streets, spaced out safely. And so one thing that I appreciate is there's a variety of artists. You know, I'm waiting for kind of the hard rock. Believe it or not, I like hard rock.
Okay.
I like to jump up and down and
be a headbanger.
and I love it. It's so much fun. So, you know, but there is a variety of music. And so one thing, of course, the South District is enhancing some of their presence in our community.
They have so many great plans.
Yes.
I had a meeting with Angie Jordan and Tasha Lard a few weeks ago, and I'm so excited for everything they're doing.
So I know that there'll be more opportunity and more diversity in the performers. So, you know, I think you all have a great board of directors that are, you know, thinking about how can we ensure that there are local people that are having a stage to display their talents and their gifts. And also, just making sure that it's not all in, we love downtown, and downtown is a great place for performance, for performers to come. But there's so much opportunity within the greater community as well. And so I know you all are being more intentional about doing that. And I think it's great. You
know, I have a side story. One of our Music on the Move performances last year was James Tetson at Terry Trueblood.
Yes.
And James is amazing. It happened to be one that I was working, and I was talking to one of the women that had come to watch him perform. She was from Cedar Rapids, and she'd never been to Terry Trueblood, and she was like, this is amazing. We don't have anything like this in Cedar Rapids. I'm going to come to more of these. So she was traveling to Iowa City from Cedar Rapids to see Music on the Move. And like you said, there's so much talent. I actually recently did a count, and last year in 2022, we supported approximately 437 Eastern Iowa musicians.
Wow.
Through our programming throughout the year. And that's something we're very proud of. You know, the focus of the Friday Night Concert Series and Northside Concert Series is primarily Eastern Iowa performers, which is typically Cedar Rapids, Iowa City, Quad Cities, so fairly small area. And it's very important that we're supporting the artists in our community. I also took a look at the Holiday Thieves Market, and out of our 78 artists we had last year, 58 were from Iowa.
Nice.
So not all Eastern Iowa, but Iowa, you know. I understand that in December, you know, you may not want to travel from Colorado or something. But it's something that we're very proud of. And in our meeting with the South District, I said, you know, we're going to do another movie over in Pepperwood Plaza this year. We're excited. It was so much fun. And I said, you know, just keep me in the loop on what you guys are doing, because we want to make sure everybody knows there's so many fabulous opportunities.
So one of the things, you know, when you mentioned Terry Trueblood and you're talking about the South District, I think people in the community, music, they're bringing people together, one, for music, right? And then when they get there, they're hanging out and meeting new people. But another thing is oftentimes they're in an environment that they've never been to.
Exactly.
I met someone recently. There was an event over at Terry Trueblood, and they came to the event and they were like, wow, this building is beautiful. Oh my God, there's water activities here. You can walk around, you know. So again, I think people are going into the neighborhoods and being introduced to a whole new world. And over in the South District, as we know, there are some stores, some ethnic stores that people can support, and they're learning about these opportunities by just coming to hear some music, right? The airport, because you all do the
movies that we did at the airport.
The movies at the airport. A lot of people have never turned off Riverside Drive to go to the airport, and then they learn a little bit, you know, just through conversations about the Iowa City Airport.
I actually thought that I was pretty familiar with Iowa City parks. I learned that I wasn't. There are so many more parks that I wasn't familiar with. One of the last movies we did last year was at McPherson. And I'd driven by there, I'd
Yes.
seen it, but I'd never actually been to the park. And it's
Yes.
beautiful.
It is beautiful.
And I feel like our Parks and Rec department just does an amazing job at keeping the parks up. And there's so many and so many neighborhood parks. And I think that's
Yes.
so crucial.
Yeah. I think the music brings out people that are within the neighborhood.
Yep.
And even those that just want something to do throughout the greater part of the city.
Yeah.
They're traveling. So again, it's just a great opportunity bringing people together. And music does.
Yes.
I think it's healing for the soul. It's healing for the mind. It's healing for the joints because you get to move around
Yep.
and exercise, right?
Yep.
Which we all should be doing, especially after COVID because things were so. I mean, we were a sediment, in so many ways, and so this is great that Summer of the Arts is still. I think every now and then you all rejuvenate yourselves.
We try.
You do.
Yeah.
I mean, you're
Pivot.
doing you're pivoting.
Yep.
Right. You're trying a different avenue. And
Yeah.
I think that's what makes Some of the Arts continue to be a great resource within our community.
Thank you. I know in 2020, I have a good friend who loves all of our events, longtime volunteer, and she contacted me and she's like, is there any opportunities to see live music? And that was when we did A Truckload of Soul with Kevin Burt the first year
Yes.
that became Music on the Move.
I love that.
But we
Became
also-
in my neighborhood.
Yeah. We also did recordings of, some of our Arts Fest performers and
Yes.
Friday Night Concert Series performers. And so I told her on the slide when we were doing the recording so she could come watch it.
Yes.
And, of course, everybody's social distance, wore masks
Yes.
unless they were singing. And we were very careful about it. But we just knew people
Yes,
needed it.
they
They
needed
needed that opportunity. Doing the drive-in movies at the airport
Yes.
was so much fun. Something we'd never done, and we're gonna be doing one at the airport this year. So we
Yeah.
do have that on the schedule.
That'd be great.
Yeah, it's still a fun site. We just learned that you can't show movies that have a lot of dark scenes because you're on the side of the building, side of the hangar. But yeah, we're always looking at ways to, change things up. This year we're celebrating the 40th anniversary of the Arts Fest and 30th anniversary of Friday Night Concert Series.
Wow.
So 2 big
Yes.
anniversaries to celebrate.
Yes.
And we appreciate you and everything you do for the community, and
Always happy to be a part, right?
good.
Yeah.
We appreciate
yeah.
that. Well, thank you so much for joining us
Well,
today.
thank you.
Always great to catch
Yes,
up.
yes.
And looking forward to our next creative conversation.
Absolutely. And I will see you on the stage at some point.
Yes, definitely. Thank you.
Great. Thank you.